Shwmae! In this video, we revise Uned 13 of the Mynediad course, where you learned how to describe things in the past using Roedd. For example, roedd hi'n braf. It was fine. So, let's do a bit of practice. Roedd hi'n braf ddoe. It was fine yesterday. Roedd hi'n braf ddoe. Roedd hi'n braf ddoe. Roedd hi'n heulog ddoe. It was sunny yesterday. Roedd hi'n heulog ddoe. Roedd hi'n heulog ddoe.
Then you moved on to the question, oedd hi'n braf neithiwr? Was it fine last night? So you can see that the initial r has disappeared. Let's practice. Oedd hi'n braf neithiwr? Was it fine last night? Oedd hi'n braf neithiwr? Oedd hi'n braf neithiwr? Heulog. Sunny. Oedd hi'n heulog neithiwr? Oedd hi'n heulog neithiwr? And of course, with another question, we have another yes-no answer. Oedd. Yes, it was. And nac oedd. No, it was not. Oedd hi'n oer neithiwr?
Oedd. Roedd hi'n oer iawn. Oedd hi'n braf ddoe.
Nac oedd. Dim o gwbl. We looked at the question, how was the weather yesterday? Should roedd y tywydd ddoe? Should roedd y tywydd ddoe? Now your turn to say the question. Should roedd y tywydd ddoe? Should roedd y tywydd ddoe?
Roedd hi'n hyfryd iawn. As with all statements, using it, we can use the same structure to talk about him and her. For example, roedd hi'n dost. She was ill. And roedd e'n dost. He was ill. Let's practice those further.
Roedd hi'n drist. She was sad. Roedd hi'n drist. Roedd hi'n drist. Roedd hi'n hwyr. She was late. Roedd hi'n hwyr. Roedd hi'n hwyr. And now, he was. Roedd e'n dost. He was ill. Roedd e'n dost. Roedd e'n dost. Drist. Sad. Roedd e'n drist. Roedd e'n drist.
We now come to the question form again, where, if you remember, the initial r is dropped. Compare these two. Roedd e'n dost. He was ill. Oedd e'n dost. Was he ill? We can now practice these for both masculine and feminine. Starting with him, oedd e'n dost. Was he ill? Oedd e'n dost. Oedd e'n dost. Drist. Oedd e'n drist. Oedd e'n drist.
And now, her. Oedd hi'n dost. Was she ill? Oedd hi'n dost. Oedd hi'n dost. Oedd hi'n drist. Oedd hi'n drist. The answers are the same. Oedd and nac oedd. And then we come to the negative. For example, doedd hi ddim yn sych. You can see here that the initial r has now changed to a d. And we have added a ddim. Roedd hi'n sych becomes doedd hi ddim yn sych. It was not dry. So now we can practice those quickly using him, her and it. Doedd hi ddim yn sych. It was not dry. Doedd hi ddim yn sych. Doedd hi ddim yn sych. Doedd hi ddim yn heulog. Doedd hi ddim yn heulog. Doedd hi ddim yn hapus. She wasn't happy. Doedd hi ddim yn hapus. Doedd hi ddim yn hapus. Doedd ddim yn drist. He wasn't sad. Doedd ddim yn drist. Doedd ddim yn drist.
To end this part of the unit, we extend this pattern to talk about objects. For example, doedd y bwyd ddim yn dda. The food was not good. We can now practice the further examples from the coursebook. Doedd y bwyd ddim yn dwym. Doedd y bwyd ddim yn dwym. Doedd y bwyd ddim yn ddrud. Doedd y bwyd ddim yn ddrud. Doedd y bwyd ddim yn rhad. Doedd y bwyd ddim yn rhad.
In the second part of Uned 13, we began to look at how we discuss illnesses and how we talk about them in the past. To begin with, we need to be aware of the two different forms of saying you're ill. If you name a part of the body, for example, pen tost, a headache, or bola tost, a bad stomach, we use gyda. The same pattern as we saw in Uned 12. Have a look at these examples. Mae pen tost gyda fi. I have a headache. Mae bola tost gyda fe. He has a stomachache. And so to discuss this in the past, we use roedd, as we did with the descriptions previously in the unit. So, my bola tost gyda fi, I have a stomachache, becomes roedd bola tost gyda fi, I had a stomachache. Roedd clust dost gyda fi, I had a earache. Roedd clust dost gyda fi. Roedd clust dost gyda fi. Roedd bola tost gyda Bethan. Bethan had a stomachache. Roedd bola tost gyda Bethan. Roedd bola tost gyda Bethan. You notice that some of these use tost and others dost. That mutation is because some words here, pen, bola, are masculine, and others, such as clust, braich, and coes, are feminine.
The other way of talking about illness is when you have an infection or a virus, and these are described as being on you, and we use the word ar. For example, roedd anwyd ar Sam. Sam had a cold, or literally there was a cold on Sam. Roedd peswch ar Bethan. Bethan had a cough. One very important thing to remember about this pattern is that the word ar changes when we talk about different people. Us, them, you. It conjugates, or changes. Roedd anwyd arna I. I had a cold. Roedd anwyd arna ti. You had a cold. Roedd anwyd arno fe. He had a cold. Roedd anwyd arni hi. She had a cold. And remember to use the online resources to practice everything in this unit. The link to the resources can be found in the video description below.
Tan tro nesaf felly.
Pob hwyl!
Cawod, cawodydd. Cot, cotiau. Danodd. Pabell, pebyll. Poen, poenau. Anwyd, bag, bagiau. Beic modur, beiciau modur. Bol, boliau. Bola, cefn, cefnau. Llwnc, moddion, par, parau. Pen, person, personau. Peswch, llais, lleisiau. Cario, symud. Araf, ardderchog. Cyflym, heilog. Priod, tost. Achos, byth, fel arfer, y llynedd.